About your mother died and got back after she gave birth. Do you think that was important to what happened to you?
What I've come to understand, to recognize, is that everything that happens to us in life is important. There is a reason for everything, and everything makes perfect sense, but we're not necessarily here to understand it fully. Look, not many people have the gift of having a life-after-death experience, of experiencing that beautiful place of love, of understanding, and then coming back here. Not many of us get the opportunity to talk with someone to share it, but you know, I was attached still at the umbilical cord. It was during my delivery while my mother went through this process. So if this played a role in it, well, I was certainly attached to her at the time. I certainly went along for the trip. You know, I would have wished I had taken pictures, but...
How does this work exactly? We've seen you making movements around people with your hands. Are your hands magical? Do you feel energy? Do you give energy?
Want to feel it in your hands?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Come, just give me one hand.
One.
Yeah, just hold one hand up. Open your fingers and your thumb for a little bit. Hold them a little strong if you can. Good. Now, as I bring my hand in, I don't know if the camera can see this, but you can probably see how there's a vibration in your fingers.
Yes.
Okay. My whole arm begins to float. If I push my arm down, it floats back up again. And I sort of watch what I see in your fingers, and then I pull or I stretch the sensation to see if or how it changes. Now, you see that your fingers are moving, but does that mean that you feel anything?
Yes, I felt you pushing.
It felt like I was pushing. What other aspects or characteristics of sensation do you have?
It's like tiny little...
Pins or needles?
Yes, pins and needles.
Now, does it stay the same or does it change now?
It's like waves.
It's like waves. What I'm doing is that I'm listening with a different sense. I'm not sending, I'm feeling, and we're accessing a spectrum beyond energy. For instance, notice how it becomes more intense with distance. The further I pull away, the stronger it becomes.
Yes.
This is just the opposite of what we know about energy. Energy gets weaker with distance. Was there any temperature when I did that with your hands?
A little bit warmer.
A little bit warmer, right? So obviously, my hands weren't holding in your body heat at this distance. So where was the warmth coming from? Maybe my hands would be casting off warmth? Feel. They're cold.
No, they're cold.
We don't know. This changes the laws of physics. We don't know how it functions. And what's being discovered, and yet it's difficult to understand, not just in the medical world, but even in the healing world, because we've been used to limited energy healing techniques. But A, what's difficult for people to recognize at first is that healing is just that simple. And B, anything more complicated than that is designed to sell us something. The truth is, we can't buy what we already own, but we can't own it unless we allow ourselves to recognize it. So all of this is truly designed to allow us to come back and look back inside, to come back home. And back home is where our healing is.
You say fear is the worst obstacle in people's lives. You never feel fear?
Absolutely. Feel fear lots of times. Every choice we make, every decision, every action that we take either comes from fear, lack, limitation, the illusion of darkness, the illusion of separation, or it comes from love, prosperity, abundance, light, oneness, unity. And we're here to challenge ourselves by walking through our fears. But we do have to step through the fears, and we experience fear there. The person who is brave is not the person who's not afraid to do anything. It's the person who does what he or she is afraid to do, and we grow through stepping through our fears. So fear is not a bad thing. Fear is not a bad thing. Fear is a challenge that allows us to grow.
Do you go to the doctor?
Yes.
When was the last time you needed an hospital?
A hospital?
Yes.
Oh, God, I don't know. Maybe when I had my tonsils removed when I was 5. But listen, every healthcare discipline has its role. It's very, very important. Many medical doctors have learned this work. And if I walk out in the street and I'm hit by a car, get out of the way, an ambulance is coming to stop the bleeding. If I have a high fever or an infection that reconnective healing will not work with, I'm very thankful for antibiotics. But the reverse is, if I'm in the hospital and antibiotics aren't helping me, then I'm very thankful for reconnective healing. Every healthcare discipline has its role. The only problem is when one healthcare discipline feels it's the expert over the others. It's not. And I wouldn't want my dentist doing my chiropractic. I don't want my chiropractic doing my brain surgery. I don't want my brain surgeon doing my reconnective healing. But I don't want to remove any of those things. I believe that we've gone into each of our healthcare disciplines as an excuse. An excuse to find a socially acceptable way to be the healers that we all are inside.
Are you happy? You feel complete?
I don't feel complete. I have a long way to go. I have a lot to do. If I do what I believe that I'm here for, if I do it well, then when I leave this body, this work will continue. So I'm pedaling as fast as I can. Am I happy? Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.